Either way, I appreciate you hanging out. If you lasted somehow this long, Michael Scott, no. Uh, Hi, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the IT Young Professional. My name's Kep, and I host this channel. If you happen to just be stumbling upon the channel, welcome in. If you've been around, you know this page has seen a lot of different hats. Um, for those who may not know, I did transition from the trucking industry. I was a flatbed truck driver for about 2 years, and it just wasn't for me long term. I had an absolute blast doing it, but moved on to for personally for me, just a better line of work, something I really enjoy. Now, with all that being said, I do not code for work at all. This is simply hobby stuff that I enjoy. I think of a ton of ideas, and something that really is just fascinating to me is that you can think of this thing or this idea, this project, and with the right knowledge, you can bring it to life. And I've seen this with the use of AI. AI's provided a lot of code for me for various projects that I want. However, I want to know how to do it. I don't want AI just to keep providing this to me. However, the other thing AI can do is teach. And I do want to preface this video. I am not here to teach anybody, simply just recording and putting my personal learning journey into coding out there. So in hopes one day when I build something super cool, in theory, I can kind of come back and see, wow, like this is where I started from. This is, and just kind of have a reflection moment. So with that being said, we are starting week one of our lesson. In our last video, took a 27 question Python basic assessment through Claude AI. And we're going to kind of touch base on some of the things I missed and just start lesson one, right? So, one of the things I did miss last week was a variable, right? And if you're a dev, junior dev, maybe you code as a hobby, this is going to be well below a lot of y'all's pay grade. So just keep that in mind. During that assessment, there was one that had two, a number leading, and leading off a variable, and the other one had a hyphen. I ended up choosing the hyphen in the test. I didn't realize it was a select all that's applicable, so I missed it. I did at least identify, hey, like this doesn't look right, but and I resulted in getting that question wrong. So now I know, so there's that. Another question I had missed was the dictionary and how your key has to be wrapped in quotes. I did something along the lines of this, where I said, "Hey, name," um, and I did this, right? This is how I did it. However, I did not know your name or the key has to be wrapped in quotations as well. So I got that wrong. It explained it to me, and now we know. So with that being said, we are you going to use VS Code as my editor. I like it. I don't have a lot of experience with anything else. I use PyCharm for when I first got into coding, but VS Code has been just better for me personally. So I did mix up an operator as well. Um, it was basically how do you check for an even number, right? And I did floor division instead of a Modelo. So it was actually this, and instead of the percent sign, I used uh, I used floor division. So got that one wrong as well. Had the right logic behind it, just the incorrect operator, which resulted in being incorrect. And part of all this is I don't want to be incorrect. I want to be able to produce the right things. Fortunately, I did at least understand the logic behind it of, hey, you need a remainder of zero, which means it's an even number, right? There is no remainder. So we're going to touch on some of these, and the structure of what these lessons are going to be covering some of the things I missed until we get through that, and then I want to do a lot of more hands-on versus just reading and that type of learning. I'm a very hands-on learner, especially when it comes to coding. I can read, um, at least for me, quite a bit from the basic standpoint. But I haven't written a ton, which is a lot, like the key thing. It's just if I had written a lot of code, I probably would have known, hey, you need to wrap this. So that's the goal of these lessons is simply quick 30-minute videos of, hey, here's what we're covering today. Right now we're doing a one video a week until I can kind of find a good cadence and good rhythm. And then maybe we'll go to a Tuesday, Thursday release. But for now, it's going to be a Thursday around 9 Central, 8 Central. I'm not sure. I'm going to be moving time zones here soon, more than likely. So I'm not sure about the time, but it will be a Thursday morning release. And then um, one of the questions was find the max number in a list. And I ended up sorting the list. It gave me, nums equals bracket, whatever, random list. I sorted the list and then did a index of -1, print nums bracket -1. Um, Very similar to this, right? Where, gosh darn it, 2, 7, 1, 4. We'll just do that, right? And I did something similar to sorted, right? Where um, sort equals sorted.nums, and then I did print sort, and then I did this, right? Which was okay, but I could have just put, hey, max, or I can't use max, but um, large equals max nums, right? And then print max or print large, right? Anywho, I made things way more complicated than it should have been, just because I didn't know, right? Um, I haven't used this before, so but whenever it explained it to me, I'm like, oh, duh, that makes way more sense. All right, so our first exercise, right? We'll do this exercise one. Fix these broken variables. So we're gonna just copy this. Actually, I'm on Mac, so I gotta copy it with my Windows key. All right, so we need to fix these broken variables. So we'll come down here, user count. Can't start with a number. It can't start with a integer. So we'll just do user count, and I need to turn off this IntelliSense. Give me a couple of seconds. All right, so we got the suggestions turned off. Took me a minute to find it. Had to Google it, but we got it turned off. I don't want things provided to me, really. I want to be able to go and think through things without the suggestion saying, hey, write this code, right? So with that being said, we need to fix these broken variables, and I understand how very basic and boring this is probably for some of y'all, but I'm doing this series more so for me. So um, if you watch, and I can't say thank you enough for even if you watch like three to 4 minutes, and give it a thumbs up. Just those little things help this channel grow so much. So genuinely thank you. Um, but the first one there, right? We can't start a variable with a number. The second one has a hyphen in it. You cannot do that. So test@email.com. Next, we have first, and it has a space, or oh, not fist. First name equals Sarah. Sarah is the name of my best friend's wife. So, and she might watch this. So, hi y'all. Hope y'all are doing well. You cannot use class because it is a reserved word. So we'll do, what about classes? Plural. Let's see, Python 1. And total $, you can't have $, in the name, so we'll just do total equals 100. So there's the first exercise 1A. And then um, test them by using a print statement. I'm not going to go through that just because I mean, I guess I can do one. So we'll do print user. Oh, can I not tab my? Interesting. I can't tab for complete user count. And we will run it. Uh, oh, So it's catching that up there as well. I wonder why. And it's not SQL. I don't think you can just highlight it. So what if we do this? Uh, Can I comment all of this? No. All right. And I almost was planning on like cutting this stuff, right? But because those are syntax errors, we can do this, and then we should be able to run it here, right? And then print 50. So it prints the value that's assigned to the variable. And initially I was gonna cut the mistakes like that, but um, that's part of this journey, right? It is, hey, like this is my knowledge level, and I don't want to make it flashy and whatnot, or make it seem like I know more than I do, because that's the purpose, right? So either way, we will add these back so that way we know, hey, that's exercise one. So speaking of, we'll do this, and we'll go ahead and get it ready to put in here. Um, ooh, I don't like that because it makes it way larger. We're gonna have some growing pains, right? Um, so that's fine. We'll just keep it rolling. So exercise 1B, 1B. Gosh darn it, 1B. We need to create a dictionary. Being on the Mac after I work on a Windows laptop, and control is the key for everything for Windows, and then I'm using a non-Mac specific keyboard. It's just a Logitech G915, something like that. So I have to use the Windows key for all of that. So we have to create a dictionary with these exact keys, excuse me, as strings. So excuse me, and it looks like it wants us to use customer, so let's do that. Customer equals here, and the first one is going to be first name, and we'll do this, and let's use myself just to make it easy. I need a comma. Let's see, last name here. I'm not going to put my last name out there, so let's just say, let's do last name. How about that? Here, uh, count talent. It wants us to do these as strings, so I guess even here I'll still will do that. Why does it keep double tabbing? Account. Oh, hello. Account type here, and we'll just do checking. So we have $50 in our checking account. And lastly is active, which I assume is going to be a true or false. I don't, I mean, I guess it wants us to do it as string, so I guess we'll keep that um, true. And because it's the last one, we don't need a comma. So with that being said, oh, what the hell? What? I don't understand why my terminal ran. So, uh, so Python. And then from here we would print customer. And what if I do this? We'll just do that, and then we'll just run first name. There we go. Very good. So there is our dictionary right there. So we'll just do this. We'll scroll on down. We are at 20 minutes. I am gonna have some editing, right, because of taking some time to do this or that. So, however, up next, we are going to have set two, exercise two operators. So, set two, choose the right operator, fill in the blank with Modelo, floor division, or division. Let me go back up because I think I missed something here. Um, okay, so floor division is going to give us a round number. I believe it rounds down, hence floor. Uh, copy. So 156 divided by 8, complete is 19, and then regular division is going to give us math with decimals. Okay, so that is correct. So set two, and I'll go ahead and just copy this into here just to make it simpler. Since we're just picking the operator. So this one, we're gonna say number needs to be a Modelo because we're checking if it is even, which means, hey, is number, so here 42, is even equals number uh, with Modelo of 2 with 0 with none, no remainder. So that would make it even. How many complete weeks in 45 days? So complete weeks. I assume this would be, you would want this to be rounded, hence the complete. So that would just be both of those, floor division. So split $100 among three people with the exact amount. So this is going to be exact. So this is just going to be just one, right? Regular division. What day of the week is day 23 with 0 being Monday and 6 being Sunday? So day number 23. So with this being an exact value, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, this needs to be floor division. Otherwise, you're going to get a float or a decimal number. And that's not what we need. So let's see what happens here. We have this as a string comment. So nothing up there. Let's see. So the first one, right? Print is even. That's going to equal true. Days is going to be 6 weeks. 33 $33, 33, 33, 33, right? And then day of the week is going to be three, which Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? Um, right, 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's right. Very good. For those who may not know, again, I'm not trying to teach, but Python, whenever you're counting, starts at 0. That's why Monday is 0 in this case. Alrighty, so let's take my scroll wheel is inverted for Mac OS, and so it keeps throwing me off. But we'll be all right. All right, so next, your task replace. Okay, so that's what I did. Exercise 2B. So this one's going to be 2 Bravo. Build an even odd function, write a function using the Modelo operator. So we're going to, and I'll just write this out. So we are going to make a function called is even, which is going to, gosh darn it, it's just going to take a number or an argument. With this, I guess I assume our input's going to be a single. I mean, I know it here it is. So let's say, um, so if, because we need to check if it's either or, and then print either odd or even. So if number is divisible by 2 with an no remainder. We're going to print even, else print odd, not off, odd. And then we can do print is, and this is a usual right tab, but we can't tab in this. So is even 42. Close, close, and then print is even 17. I would think something like this would be a different color here, but could be wrong. So let's just see if it errors, and it does. It's because I spelled it incorrectly. Spelling is hard. All right, and actually something's here. Oh, I think I need to return. I need to return even or return odd and not print. Uh, so let's do return even. Darn it, we are struggling on the keyboards today. It was a long day at work, so turn. So what happens if I do this? There we go. Yeah, so that makes sense, right? Because I saw none here, which if you make a function, to my knowledge, again, I'm not teaching, I'm trying to make sure I talk through things, even though I think what I'm gonna do is actually grab the transcript from these sessions and then put those into the Claude. So that way it gets the full, because it's only going to get what I copy out of here and paste into it, right? But if I can get the transcript out of here to let it, hey, this is my thought process, I think that's only going to help long term. So, anywho, if you don't specify a return in a function, it defaults to returning none. So, whenever I ran this initially right here, the first one, right, 42 is even, so it meets here. It meets, this is a true statement, so it's going to, at that point, it's going to print, but it's also going to return none, right, because there was no return. And then the second one, it was odd, so it printed odd, and then it returned none because there was nothing there. So you do need to make a return whenever you have a function, otherwise it will return none. All right, so now we are moving on to number 3 alpha. All right. So replace manual code, convert these manual implementations to use built-ins. So our first one here, we write this out, right? That's the whole point, right? We need to get practice writing it out. So we have define manual. All right. Hey, sorry about that. I don't have any audio playing, so if there's no output, my headset dies after what I assume to be 10 minutes. So, we're going to define manual max. We're going to take numbers here uh, with this. So, currently it has biggest equals numbers and then the index of 0, which means the very first one. So then we start a for loop. So for num in number. So for each of the numbers, if num is greater than the first number, uh, biggest equals num. So it sets a variable to that number, right? If true, and then we return that. However, we should be able to say, hey, we'll just do large equals max numbers and then return large. All right, that should rewrite this. Um, your version. Define built-in max numbers. Okay. So with that, we're gonna take this and we are gonna say uh, test number. I guess I can copy the whole thing. Gosh darn it. Anyway, copy bracket. All right, bracket here. So now what we want to do is print, and we spelled it correctly this time. We're going to do an F string. So I'm just going to say, I'm not going to do the first one that it wanted us to do. I'm just going to say, hey, max number is space here. And then when we call a variable within an F string, I know you need curly brackets, so we're going to say that to be large. Uh, oh, hang on. We need to call the function, so this would actually be bracket. What do I call this? Manual max with parentheses of test. Uh, test. Maybe I'll put on the tab, the autofill, because that's something I don't feel like it's going to be terrible. All right, so we have open parentheses for the entire print statement. I'm missing F max. I want it to print after this, which means I don't need this. There we go. All right, and I don't need this. So print F open max number is space. Otherwise, it's going to be right off called function with test number. So let's see what happens. 89 is what we got as a return, which is the largest number. So that looks good to me. And on to shoot, where is it? Here it is. All right, exercise 3B. Sales data analysis. Use built-ins to analyze this sales data. So here is our, I'm just going to copy this and put it in. So that's going to be what we're using. And we need to use built-in functions to calculate total sales, best day, worst day, days recorded, average sales. All right, so what we're going to do here are total sales is going to be a sum, right? So sum of daily, gosh, daily sales. Best day, I assume best meaning the highest, so max is going to equal max sales. Worst is going to be minimum, I assume. Min daily sales. Days recorded equals, and we're gonna use the len function here. Len is a count. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna count each individual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Uh, Last is going to be average. Average. Uh, average sales equals. The average is going to be the total sales divided by the number of total, so days recorded. Yeah. All right, so we are going to do this. We're going to do a print statement f equals um f equals. Really don't want to type out all of this. I'll be real honest with y'all. All right, this will at least tell us if we got this part correct. Print f string here. What is 2f? 2f is probably around. I'm gonna have to ask about that. So before I forget, what what is the dot 2f? So let's go ahead and run this. All right, here we go. So total sales $3,360. Best day is 567, which is true. Lowest is 123, which is true, and then average is $336 per a day. Oh, very good. And I'm sure this is very dry if anybody happens to still be watching, but I'm having a good time. So, and I do want to know what that is. So, next exercise 4A, debug the broken code. Fix all of the syntax errors in this code. So let's just copy and put it in here. I know it has the lines and whatnot, but we're just gonna bear with that. So this code has multiple syntax errors. Fix them all. So we're defining a process or defining a function called process scores, which takes an argument. We are missing this. Um, if len test scores is greater than 0, so that's missing, which means we need to indent here average equals total. Wish those pop-ups would go away. If len, okay, so then we I guess we fix that one just without anyway. Average equals total. Average is a function itself, I believe. If I do average, so average score, and then this is going to be average. Average score equals total divided by the count of test scores. I don't know if this needs to be wrapped in parentheses. It's a total. Because if so, then we need to set this to a variable itself and not divided by it. Floor division's fine here because we're looking for the average, so decimals should be fine there. Assuming it doesn't tell me it needs to round. Yeah. So here's where I'm not sure. I don't know if this needs to be set to a variable, kind of like this first, um, where you would do something like count equals this would equal then test scores like this here, and then this now becomes count, not L count, but count. So average score is set to here, and then now we return off that indent here. So this that's what I'm gonna go with, at least for now, despite this only saying it was one error. But function call scores equal, we're missing a bracket here, result equal process scores, which is our function. We need to do this, and then print result. Let's see. Uh, hang on, I want that to be at the top. There we go. All right, so 87.75 um, is the average score out of these. So let's just uh, here calculator. I don't have one installed. It's a newer computer, so I don't have everything together yet. So we're just gonna go. Let's see, 85, 92, 78, 96. Um, let's see, 92 and 78 is going to be 170. Yeah, 170. I'm not gonna try to do it in my head. I'm not that smart. Let's not play myself. We're gonna go with that. So, uh, and this video is at 40 minutes. Even with editing, we're gonna be a little over the 30-minute range. So, we have one more to go here. So we'll do some cadence work. I do want to be mindful of people's time. Um, but that, it's a work in progress, just like everything else in my life. Number four, write perfect function. Write this function with perfect syntax, no copy or paste. Type it yourself. So here is our instructions. I know it said don't copy and paste, but we're just doing instructions. So, function requirements: name, calculate tip, parameters, bill amount, and tip percentage. Returns tip amount rounded to two decimal places. Formula is bill amount times tip percentage divided by 100. All right. So we're taking two parameters this time. So we'll do tip calculator, which is going to take bill amount and tip percentage. Let's see. So we need to take. Hang on. Am I just overthinking this? I am just overthinking this, right? It's you literally have your total, right? And I'm not gonna. So you'd have your total bill, which is gonna be bill amount. Uh, so bill equals bill amount, and then you're gonna take your bill and your tip percent. So tip is just gonna be tip equals tip percentage divided by 100, and then in order to find, so if I have $100 bill, or $100, if my tab's $100, and I want to leave 20% tip, you just take your bill, times it by zero point 0.2, take whatever the product is, you add it to the bill. So with that logic, we have bill, which is bill amount. We have tip, which is the tip, which is the this as a variable. So next would be uh, so this I should maybe the variable, and this is where I start getting tripped. Like the tip, should the tip be this? So for instance, oh hell, hang on. So like this part over here, let me snag this. So whenever you call this, so this is the bill amount, and then this is the tip percentage. So they want to tip 18%, right? So based off what I have right now, bill is going to equal $50. Tip is going to equal 0.18. So based off that, I need to do math, and that's going to be bill times tip, and then total bill is going to equal math, sorry, bill plus math, bill plus math, and then return total bill. All right, so we have a variable set to whatever this argument's going to be, or parameter, whatever. I'm not sure. The verbiage. We have a variable that takes the tip percentage and calculates the actual decimal. The math of it is bill times tip, and that gives you your actual tip amount. Maybe that's a better instead of math. Tip amount. Your total bill is going to be bill plus tip amount, and then we're returning total bill. So let's take this here, here, here. I guess I could change this up to the same name. Calculate tip and so we have 59 and 150. That is not correct. That is based off of what these over here should be. So where did I mess up here? Why is this 59? That's nine. Wait, 50 plus 59. That's $9. That's 20% would be 1/5. 1/50 would be 10. Is 18? Is 18% is $9. So it's expecting the print the tip, isn't it? I bet it tells me that, doesn't it? Uh, calculate tip. Okay. Hang on. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this. Return formula. Uh, what a idiot. All right. So if you read real well, you would have known. Hey, I'm supposed to calculate just the tip, not the entire bill, just the tip. So formula was bill amount times tip divided by 100, or tip amount divided by 100, tip percentage, which gives you the decimal form of which you multiply. Okay. And y'all don't need a basic math lesson. Apparently, I do. So. With that being said, we are going to do this. Copy, cut, paste. Now we're going to select all, copy, and then put this into here and see what it says. I should probably move me and close that. All right, excellent progress. Progress is good. That's what we want. You're getting concepts right. Let me point out what you nailed. The first few tweaks needed. Um, so exercise 1A looks, I guess it all. Yeah, nailed it. Okay. Exercise 2, clearly understood each one. Built-in functions was good. Figured that out. Small fixes needed for dictionary values. Um, so earlier in the video, and you could probably scroll back and figure it out. I said, hey, it says put this as a string, right? So we did 50 um, in quotation marks, which makes it a string. Now it's saying, hey, you didn't need that. So I'm gonna say, hey, the instructions were to make these strings, unless maybe I missed something. But the instructions said to values into strings. So I did. All right. Exercise 2, one operator fix. So my version, I did, this gives you week number, not day. Oh, okay. So I'm still having issues with floor division and Modelo. think about it. Day 23. I'm gonna need more. I would like further, gosh, further explanation. Yeah, seem to grasp. All right. I mean, this right here is literally what this video, what this rebranding is all about. So, there is that. Exercise for a logic issue. Let's see. Process scores. Your version has an indentation problem. Oh, I thought the return had to line up with your if statement, but that is not true. All right. Very good. This is good feedback right here. So you're going to want to return inside of the if block, not in line with it. Inside, not in line. Okay. Your great question. What is .2f? .2f shows exactly two decimal places. Okay. F is format as float point number. Gotcha. So point two is the decimal, and then F is the floating point number. Copy. That makes sense. So with that being said, thanks everybody for hanging out. Fun first lesson. I mean, very basic stuff and not getting the basics correct. All right, so lots to learn. This is, I mean, I do this. This is what I do outside of work is just learn things. I do play a lot of games, but I also try to learn at least some things, maybe not a lot of things. Either way, I appreciate you hanging out. If you lasted somehow this long, Michael Scott. No. Uh, anywho, I appreciate you hanging out with us today. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs up, like button, drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought, where I stand. I'm sure some of y'all are like, man, this guy's an idiot. Or somebody, people may be like, what did you even say the last hour? I'm not sure, but very curious. Let me know what other things that you think I should be learning as a, in the basic Python scheme of things. So, we will catch you in the next one.